Alright, so I'm going to make a quick video of this Vevor saw again. I figured it out. Their customer service is horrible. I'm going to show you that too. But I did figure it out, and one part of it is gone, or 1.5 parts of the original problem, which I'm going to put under the first video that I made. So it was making a really loud sound, and the blade was spinning. I gotta set this up so I can show you. So when it was starting on the old video, this blade would move, then it would catch onto this, and the whole thing would move. And then when I shut it down, as it slowed down, this thing would stop and it would make a horrible noise, and the blade kept going. Now I want to show you something really quickly here. So there's a backing plate just like this, although it's a little bit different, underneath the blade, and it can only go one way because the blade sits on this groove. Otherwise the blade would wobble around, you know what I mean? So picture it like something like this, but it's this backing blade, and the blade goes over this part of it that has on there, and the blade sits flush, and then this backing plate goes over it. So that bottom piece could not be changed. It couldn't go on the top, it couldn't be flipped over, it had to be like that. Then this backing plate is different. So you see it has this raised little edge around it, this other circle, and the other side it's sort of the opposite, it's indented. So instead of popping out, it's going inwards. And I did try it both ways, but I don't know, maybe I tightened it a little bit better this time. I have no idea, but it's working now like it's supposed to. The sound is still there. But what I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to show you the directions because there really is no directions. So it doesn't come together like this. You have to put it together. So like these are in a bag, this is in its own package, and there's directions. It doesn't say like this one goes here and flip this way and whatever. So now this piece here is separate from this piece. This is a screw, an Allen screw that goes down and in. This is just like a cap that sits on a tiny ledge. So the ledge here, that's about as much ledge as it's actually sitting on, even though this circle and this part here is all one. It's actually just sitting on this tiny ledge. So that being said, when I first put it on, I did try both ways, and it seemed to do it each way. So I just today decided to flip it over just to try it. And the difference is, besides this part here sticking outwards and the other side going inwards, is that it's actually a little bit shorter of a ledge. So this piece here is sitting on less of a lip that locks in. It's just like a little locking device. It doesn't screw or anything. It sits and you turn it, and it kind of locks itself on, and then you put this on. So it's sitting on a little bit less, where when I had it flipped the other side, it was actually more to sit on, and I felt that was better. Now I'm new to this kind of saw, but I have a wet tile saw, and I have no problems with that, and that's a table wet tile saw, and you run, the rocks and stuff through it. So I was worried because it didn't have much of a lip to sit on. The other way, it has a little bit more of a lip to sit on, and I thought that was more stable, and that's what it should be like. So lo and behold, I waited a few days till today. The customer service, I'm going to show you some of their responses. Although I have to apologize to them for now figuring it out, although they're still a little bit strange. Once I flipped it over and I tied this down, now it works. Now it still sounds like, not the motor, but like the blade has like a metal sound, and it's not hitting this. I've checked this. I've run it through myself, even at high speeds, and then I watched it. It doesn't hit anything, but it still doesn't sound that great. It's not high-pitched like it was, and it's definitely running properly now. But I don't know what it is. So ready? Now remember, the original video you can watch above. This spun, then this kicked in, and then when it went down, this stopped spinning, and this kept spinning for a while. Now it's actually working. Let's see. You hear that? So that's perfect. That's how it's supposed to spin. I knew I'm not a mechanic or anything, and I've had tools over the years, but there's no way that the blade was supposed to spin separate and then catch going and continue on with this mechanism. That, it just didn't seem right at all. But did you hear that little bit of a screech again? It's not hitting anything, and it's secure. You can't get this thing any tighter, and it's obviously, you know, nice and secure, but that little bit of a screech, let me just do that one more time. That part at the end where it sort of like does that sound, that doesn't sound right. Now, let me switch to this real quickly because I don't want to make a super long video. So, you know, I'm happy now. It's got more power. It's spinning properly. The sound I'm a little bit worried about still. Now, in this book here, they don't really show you anything. And then you can see here, these are all black pieces. The other pieces are black, so you can't see anything, right? Well, this is just about don't do this with the saw, don't do that, don't do this. There's nothing about technical or putting it together whatsoever. There, that's how you put it together. You can't see anything, right? It doesn't say anything. It just says like backing plate, put this on first. But you can't see anything. You can't see how those things are supposed to be flipped on over, which goes where, what side faces down, what side faces up. It doesn't show you. So you had to play around with it. So I must have, for whatever reason, when I did play around with it, maybe I just didn't secure it tight enough. Maybe it wasn't locked on properly, and that's why the blade spun both ways. But it can only go on this way is what I'm telling you. So if you watch the first video and you say, oh, I ain't going to buy one of those, don't be so scared now. Obviously, it's spinning and running properly. The sound is less, and it may be normal. I have never used this kind of concrete saw. I haven't even used a circular saw in years to cut wood, so I can't remember if that kind of sound is normal or not. But I just wanted to share with you here that you can't see anything to put it together. It doesn't tell you nothing. So you kind of got to just make do with it. It doesn't even talk about, like my wet tile saw talked about every once in a while. Even my lap polishing and grinding machine, which has the same kind of mechanisms, they even say that you should put some grease or oil in between here to help it. This doesn't say anything. I would imagine you do. So what happens is when I took this piece off, you can see the red there. So if I took this piece off, you would see the red of the saw kind of gone and on top of these backing plates. I don't see that like on my wet tile saw, so I might have to put some grease or oil. I'll ask them about that. Now, let me show you their customer service. So as far as I'm concerned now, this thing feels really good, and I want to cut these. These are crystal rocks, serpentine group, so I want to cut them down so I can put them on my wet tile saw. All right, so again, the saw itself and everything seems great. Customer service, no, not good at all. All right, so I don't know if you can see this, so you can go ahead and pause it, but basically what it's saying is they couldn't open my video link, my YouTube link, and I kept trying to tell them, like in 4 emails, just send it to a personal email then. I don't understand why you couldn't open up a link in an email. My family never has any issues when I send them a link. And they wanted me to do this. What does it say? Wet transfer, we transfer. And you got to sign up for it and everything and download your files, and then whatever reason this Vevor company will be able to look at it. And I kept telling them, I don't want to do that, put my files somewhere and everything like that. Just open the link or send it to your personal email and send a link, right? All right, so again, there's a glare coming from outside, but I tried to explain to him, you have to watch a video or get me on the phone, that trying to describe it isn't really going to help. You have to see it, you got to see the spin, you got to hear the noise, and they just kind of just ignored that and kept telling me, send it to that other file, send it to that other file. Then they offered me $50 compensation, and I think it even says to keep the saw. Let me just get you off the screen for a minute here. Yeah, here. It says $50, and you can even keep the product and continue to use it. Now, I just basically tried to tell them, like, why would I use a product if it's broken? And why would I only accept $50 when I paid like $100 and something? Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I said in this email. And again, I'm just showing you this real quick. So if you want to buy one, and for some reason, even if it's just not the saw and it's something else, you know, you can understand. And then over here, this is interesting. So over here, she basically said the same thing about confirming the damage. They can only verify it if I upload a video to that site. Then it asked me this: we will refund you $101. So from 50 to 101, could you accept that? And then it asked me to find a professional to look at the problem of the product and repair it. Now, I had mentioned in the previous email that it's 30 days, you can return it for free with no questions asked, and you have like a warranty for a year, maybe 2 years, but at least a year, because I remember seeing it. And they didn't say anything about that, and I thought that was odd. First $50 they'll ask me to have, then $101, and then tell me to find somebody to repair it. So keep that in mind. Now, I don't want to scare anybody. Hold on one second. All right, so it's 182 bucks. I bought mine just over a week ago, and I got mine for 168. And you know, it even has the Home Depot type colors and everything on it. I think they're a Chinese company, but they have a lot of places around the world, and they're somewhere in the United States here, in California too, because it shipped to me within like 2 days. You can see they have everything. It's basically like a Home Depot / garden center. They have a ton of stuff. And here, you can see that, right? 30-day no hassle. Oh, there it goes. And warranty. So, and then what I wanted to show you, so you're not scared of buying something like this, and I'm not going to cut right now, but you know, you can go on and see the specs of this. But what I wanted to show you was, like, a lot of people, where that's questions, right? Where is it? So a lot of people here, you know, they really, really liked it, and there's some really good reviews. There's ones with pictures showing how it cut and described it. And you know, I'm not going to go through it all, but they were really, really good. People were actually amazed that this saw did what it did for the price and everything. The only question people had was that it spins backwards. And that's another thing. My blade is pointing clockwise, and yet the machine spins counterclockwise. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't read the reviews. And it doesn't seem to matter. The arrow could have been painted on wrong or something. It doesn't matter. I didn't, you know, try to flip the saw blade today. I flipped it last time. It didn't make a difference. It looks exactly the same on both sides. The diamonds flow exactly in the same pattern. So I don't think there's an issue there. But like I said, a lot of good reviews and a lot of, pictures are on this. So I just wanted to share that with you. All right. And again, I'm not trying this right now because I got things to do, and I'll make a video when I do that. So I just wanted to add, I got to add this up there, and then I got to email them and tell them it looks like it's working. And then I will try to set my camera up somehow so I can cut these rocks. And what I want to do is I want to trim these down in the good sections to get on my wet tile saw. And I'll see if I can do that out on my balcony. And real quickly, so you know, it comes with a pump and a hose, and you throw it in a bucket, and then you hook it up to here. There's actually another one here, but I don't think there's a need for that. I think that's why there's some kind of strange connector that you can maybe put another hose or something to connect this to that. I'm just going to run one hose, just like my wet tile saw. It goes in here, and it sprays the blade, and it keeps the blade wet. And this is a guard and then a splash guard. Now again, it's spinning this way, even though it's showing this way. I don't think you can see the diamond shape in there. You kind of can see the specks. All those little specks is how the diamonds are flowing, the diamond chips. So I'll do that. I'll get that going and try to make a cut with it on my balcony. I got to get a piece of slate or some kind of small piece of thing, or maybe wood. They say this thing cuts wood and everything too. Now it's really weird. You must have to get a different blade. They don't tell you that, but you're not going to cut wood with this kind of this is square off, by the way. It's not like a blade like you would think, just in case you don't know. It's flat. So to cut wood, you'd have to probably get an extra blade. Again, it doesn't tell you that in here. It just says multi-purpose for cutting wood, bricks, steel, blah, blah, blah. But this is diamond, so this is going to cut stone, and it comes with this blade. But anyway, I got to get something flat to put on my balcony, a piece of wood or a piece of slate or something, maybe even just some cheap tile to lay down, and that way I can, if I cut down, it seems really easy to handle, like it's not going to pull and everything like that, but I don't want to go down and cut. I have this on my balcony as well. I don't want to rip it up or anything. So when I make that video, I'll see how well it cuts. I'm thinking it should cut pretty dang good. It's 14 inches. It's 3,800 RPMs. My other blade is 10 inches, 4,000 RPMs on my wet tile saw. So this feels like it's going to cut easier. Will it or not? I don't know. This is easy material to cut through. It should be anywhere between a 3.5 and at the most a 6. This cut pretty dang easy. I'm going to say that this is probably 4.5 on the hardness scale. This one feels more solid and looks more solid. This might be more towards 5 or 6, but it still should cut pretty decent. All right, so I just wanted to share that with you. And again, once I get the other video of me cutting, I'll put all three together, and then you can see the problem video and how I sort of fixed it. At least the spin, the noise did cut down a little bit, and then I'll show you it cut and rock. We'll find out how good it is at cutting and how much mess it makes or not mess, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Any advice, let me know. Questions or whatever. All right, love yous. Bye.